I think we're live now. You hear me?
GM, guys.
Yeah, I think we're live. Just a minute. Let me see if I can switch my. Let me see if I can switch my audio device briefly. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly now.
Can you hear me? Just a minute.
I think there might be a bit of lag, but that's
Okay,
fine.
can you hear me clearly? Is it better?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. It's better.
Okay, I was just trying to change my audio device. Okay, I think I've changed it completely now. How is my audio now, please?
It has a lot of bars, so it's okay, but there is this white noise.
White.
There's this noise, this humming noise, but it can be used now.
All right. I think my other audio device was given an issue, so I had to change it to a mic. All right, guys. Yeah, GM guys. Let me just share my screen while you speak.
Yeah, so I was just wondering today, January, normally these guys, Jupiter do their Jupuari. That's
Yes.
airdrop that they normally do in January. I was just checking whether they are going to do that this January also. That's before we came on this live. And yeah, they are going to do it, but it might be different from the normal ones we used to have, because now I think there are like more criteria. They are much more focusing on community and all those stuff. So it will be interesting to see how this particular year's airdrop goes, because we know I think last year they distributed more than $500 million worth of Juke tokens. So this year, let's see. We'll see how that goes. But I don't think they've made any announcement as of when this particular airdrop would happen. So I'm actually looking forward to see how that plays out. Meanwhile, I was looking at this whole, Donald Trump thing. I was wondering. So today I just decided to go and check the price of Trump token, because I was expecting Trump token to pump after this the arrest of the Venezuelan president. I was expecting Trump token to pump, but funny enough, the Trump token hasn't actually pumped from its because he made a new low around December. Yes, the price hasn't actually pumped, but because if you check the price that the Trump token is now to the price it was in October 10th, because October 10th was when we had that massive dump in a day, you see that you probably have up to 40 to 50% price increase. Now, I'm not saying people should go and start buying Trump token. I'm only just curious as to why the token itself didn't pump, because the general sentiment around the arrest of the Venezuelan president is like a flex of American power, right? So one would expect that token would pump, that's the president of the United States. Okay. And also some of the news coming out from Venezuela is that the citizens are happy. There are like rallies in the country. Citizens are happy. As a matter of fact, I think their stock pumped like 70%. So I was really expecting Trump token to pump. But I just checked, it hasn't moved, and that was like really interesting for me. So yeah, I just thought of sharing it here. So if we get maybe one of those, we just woke up one morning and you find out that Trump token is pumping, maybe this might also contribute to it later on, because like I know Trump is still looking at Cuba I think Cuba would fall very soon because Cuba was dependent on Venezuelan oil, and Cuba is a dictatorship, so that they will fall very soon. He's also looking at annexing Greenland. So
Yeah.
those flex of powers, those kind of statements, I wouldn't really be shocked if we see Trump token start moving.
Well, for me, I wouldn't say much about the whole Venezuelan stuff. I haven't really looked at how it ties to Trump token or the crypto markets. Basically, yeah, for the American economy, obviously, it's going to massively benefit the American economy. For Venezuelans, I think that's what they call them. Obviously, it should also benefit them because I think they had lots and lots of sanctions, travel restrictions, restrictions, account opening restrictions, like a whole lot. So I think now there will be lots of easing in those regards of sanctions, since now US is directly in charge of their oil. I think I saw a tweet from Trump where he said he has ordered for, is it 20 to 50 million barrels of crude oil from Venezuela to be shipped. Is it monthly or daily, something like that, to US, and he has ordered that it should start immediately. Now, the interesting thing he said the money gotten from that crude would be used to boost not just America, but also Venezuelan economy. So both parties. Which, if you ask me, technically speaking, it's not bad. You know, sometimes when we look at these wars, we can tend to be, should I say, one-sided. But if America has been investing in Venezuela or will start investing and increase their quota from what they were able to meet up, which I doubt they were ever able to meet up 2 million barrels daily, increase it to like 20 million or thereabouts. Because with the news, Venezuela is among one of the top three or top four countries in the world with the highest reserve of oil. Yet, so if America can boost their output, it will do America a whole lot of favor. Yeah, probably more than Venezuela itself, to do them a whole lot of favor. But these are conversations for some other time. Let's focus on what concerns us in the market. So looking at the market, basically, we saw a huge correction yesterday, very, very huge correction from BTC, but we call it huge because it happened in like split 2 hours candle. Basically, that correction happened in like 2 hours candle. So let me just switch to 2 hours candle. We'll see that it happened in a split 2 hour candle. So you can see it. This is a correction, and if you guys recall, this is something I always point out, where I say, as long as we don't get that aggressive minus 2K on BTC, then most likely the market wouldn't really be affected. But when we get that fast minus 2K, minus 3K correction happening in 1 hour or 4 hours candle, most times it tends to affect the market negatively. Yet, especially projects that are not yet above a major support level. Yet they were just approaching a resistance. Yet for those kind of projects, it can push them back to the previous support or eliminate progress that they've made already. So if we look at BTC from yesterday morning, when we looked at it, this was a long setup we had yesterday. This was a long setup we had on BTC yesterday, which did not trigger. It didn't actually. So it was a missed entry. For those that left it open, then obviously as it came back, it took them out for the stop loss. But for me, and that close didn't bother. Yeah, I stopped waiting for this because it was already a missed entry. Yeah, so I already explained yesterday morning what we should be expecting correction towards this level. Should be expecting that. But I was being hopeful that that might happen by Thursday or towards Friday, not necessarily on a Tuesday. But yeah, it happened yesterday. I think towards evening. That's when it happened yesterday, and we saw that huge 2 hours dump. Which, if you look at what the market took out, it was almost about 3K dollars. Again, about 3K dollars. But yeah, we shared this entry. We shared this in the TG. So if you're not part of the TG, you should actually join the TG because we share that entry there. The link is on the screen. The link is actually on the screen. So we shared this entry when BTC was, I think, around this zone or so. We shared this entry, and in barely say 4 hours, it actually hit full TP. Yeah, so let's look at the ripple effect of this BTC correction that happened, over 3K correction that happened. So that's what you're seeing on the screen here. It actually cancelled out profits done by some other projects while they pushed some other projects to negative. For example, Uni was gradually moving up in profits, but it hadn't flipped above a major resistance level, so it pushed Uni down. XLM wasn't really affected, Cake was affected, Zcash was affected, Dash was slightly affected, Hype wasn't even affected at all. So basically, you can see the effect of that. But zooming out to the weekly, most projects were not affected. If you zoom out to weekly, from last week till date, most projects were not affected. Now, why is because most projects have gone above a major resistance level. Most projects. If you notice, AVAX was not even affected yesterday. Hype didn't even move. There were some very solid projects that didn't necessarily move, despite BTC doing minus 3K. Even virtual didn't even move at all, despite BTC doing minus 3K in roughly two hours to 4 hours. So it's very important we note these stuffs. Now, but are there still opportunities in the market? Hell yeah, the opportunities. If you zoom out this time last year till date, you find out lots of projects are still like in a huge discount. Uni is still 60% down. And as we progress, you guys would see eventually most of these negative figures you're seeing would flip to maybe minus 20%, and eventually most of them will flip to green, from red to green. So if you're interested in taking advantage, you'll be doing it already. Those persons that are fond of asking after a trade has started, that's the wrongest time. You should be able to decide if you want to early before it even starts moving. And if it gets to your SL, you know that's a missed trade. Because most times, before most of those trades flip to green, sometimes they will still be on the negative side. They might even go lower towards the negative direction before eventually they start flipping. So be more decisive and try and be executing your trades as fast as possible. So let's switch to looking at the market. So a bit on BTC price action. What are we expecting right now? For me, I feel BTC should just consolidate a bit. For that, let's look at BTC dominance. Let's look at BTC dominance briefly. So if you notice something very important, I jumped and I looked at this yesterday. I looked at this yesterday. So if you look at the BTC dominance chart, BTC dominance is dumping. So what that means is, despite the fact that BTC price is either consolidating or correcting, most alts or solid alts will still appreciate in value. That is literally what it means in a nutshell. Despite the fact that the price of BTC is correcting or consolidating, most alts or solid alts rather, solid projects like BNB, Solana, Ethereum, and a few others, they'll still appreciate in price. So because if you notice, this is a 4 hour candle. If you notice, BTC dominance has been dumping since yesterday, since Monday rather. This is Monday. It was 59.5% on Monday. I think this was when BTC got to almost 95K, almost. Now, since then, BTC dominance chart has been dumping. And there's a support that it will most likely bounce from somewhere here. It should bounce from here, so maybe today or tomorrow. Once it gets to this zone, it will bounce from here. But if it goes below this zone, that'll be interesting to see. But I feel it will be too early for us to see it go below this zone. I doubt. Well, now, yeah, now you understand what the dominance chart does. It simply means that the price of BTC would either stay within the same range of 91, 92K, or it might go a bit lower. But however, it won't necessarily affect most altcoins. Now let's look at some other of our trades. So if you notice, the AVAX trade is still very much active. If you notice, this dump from yesterday did not even affect it. This trade is still on. Like it's still looking very good, and it's most likely hit full TP this week, most likely. Yesterday I said something about LTC for those that are looking to long LTC. I told you guys then LTC was about 584K or so. It was somewhere here yesterday when we were talking. It was somewhere around here. Price of LTC around 84K, $84 rather. So I did mention that it's a bad idea to long LTC from there. What we need, hopefully, if BTC brings the price down, if BTC can force the price down, which BTC did that yesterday. It was this long trade that I was taking with a stop loss below this. So if you watch the yesterday video, you'll see the stuff there. You'll see where I explained this. That's where to get a long from LTC. It's at this level. Hopefully, BTC can dump, so the price will come down all the way from where it was yesterday around here. Can bring it down to this zone where we can find like an entry to long. So this trade was pretty swift. It happened very fast yesterday, so I couldn't share the entry. Like before I could share the entry, it had already moved. Like it had already moved to almost somewhere here. So there was no point sharing anything again in the TG. Yet so and this was like a 1 to 4, 400%. So if you notice, based on BTC dominance that's going down, BTC is still coming down. So personally, what I'm expecting, BTC might still come all the way to this zone. It might, because yesterday there was a huge buy. So it might still come to fill out this week before maybe it consolidates a bit, then before it starts going up. The worst that might happen is it might come all the way down to like 90K. Get to retest this zone, which I was hoping we did before, but we did not. Yeah, that's like the worst that might happen. But as long as it does that slow and steady, most odds would not necessarily be affected. So by now, for most of your trades, you should have set like your trailing stop loss. Even if your most projects are still looking very solid, you should set that because the first flash correction that BTC does might not be that brutal. But if it does that again, most odds, if BTC dumps aggressively again, I'm almost certain that hype would come all the way down to this level again. Right now, still respecting this trend line, but if BTC should dump like 89K or 88 aggressively, this would come all the way back down, and you won't feel good giving back to the market already secured profit. So it's either you close partials at this level, because if you look at where it got to 1 to 5. So it's either you close partials at this level, or you set trailing stop loss, or you adjust your SL to somewhere here. It all depends on you. But at least by now, you should have applied some profit protection strategy. Metis is another one. There was a re-entry on Asta which I've exited yesterday based on trailing SL. The re-entry on Asta around here, exited somewhere around here based on trailing stop loss. So Metis, let's look at Metis. Metis is also looking strong. For some weird reasons for the Metis trade, I've not, like I said, I've not set anything like trailing SL. The highest I did for this trade is I just moved my SL to this point. So in case there's an aggressive dump, it just takes me out at break even. But so far so good. Metis is still looking very solid. We're still edging towards full TP. So that trade is still good. Gigo trade moved up a bit yesterday. Let's open Gigo, but now it's going towards our SL. This is Gigo. The Gigo trade yesterday, it moved up for, if you recall yesterday morning, It came back to entry, which was when we were on the live. It came back to entry, and afterwards it went up again to almost like 76K. So what I just did was I just moved my SL to here and took me out of the trade at break even. So right now I'm just looking for a re-entry. I didn't protect profits, just took me out at break even. So now I'm checking for a re-entry. So this is why it's very important to manage your trades. Like it's very, 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 very important. Same thing with Dash too. Get something with Dash. Dash, I was able to protect some profits from Dash. So if you check right now, it's back to entry. I was able to add trailing SL when BTC started misbehaving yesterday. I was able to add that, and it just took me out. Not much profit, just took me out basically. But I'm looking forward to a re-entry. So you need to be very, very observant with what's happening in the market. You need to pay attention, and you don't need to FOMO. Like I said, you don't need to chase price. Very, very important. You don't need to. The market would always present opportunities. Like every time, it would always present opportunities. So if you miss an entry, the best thing to do is wait. And if you get in on an entry and you're in profit, the least you can do is move your SL to your entry just to break even in case it starts going against you. Most times, the direction of BTC affects the overall market, especially when there is like a huge dump most times. So even if yes, the market can recover very fast. Yeah, there's a trade that didn't open Uniswap. The Uniswap trade is still very much active. So you can see it here. It's still very, very active. This Uniswap trade still very, very active though. Okay, so this is still open too. So you want to ensure that you're managing your trades. BTC is still going down, still going down. So it will be interesting to see where the price of AR would be once BTC goes a bit lower, because hunting for an entry for AR would be really good. Hopefully, if AR is able to break below this level, looking for an entry somewhere around here would be very, very interesting for AR. Another one is red. Yeah, red, but red chart is looking quite solid. The red chart is looking, it's looking solid. Yeah, so eyes on BTC to see its price action. Like I said, want to see it get back to somewhere here. It's on the free fall now, so it should get back to somewhere here. Then we'll see how alts are holding up before we decide some other alts to get back into. So if you see Giggle is still going lower and lower and lower. But I'm expecting Giggle to be one of the first to bounce back. Hopefully, Giggle might dump to this level. Hopefully, this would be a good entry for Giggle. It comes all the way down to this level. That's 66. If it comes all the way down to 66, this would be like a very good level for Giggle. It's SL around 62.6 and TP targeting, let's just target here. TP targeting 76.4. So if Giggle comes down, takes out all of this liquidity to get, we're expecting it to bounce somewhere here with our stop loss just below this zone. If this zone fails, then obviously it's coming down here. But I doubt this zone would fail because we have lots of buy orders around here. Yeah, but however, let's see what BTC is doing still. Let's see. LTC is looking strong, or most times BTC just needs to break below a major level for LTC to dump. But yeah, I'm still very bullish on LTC. Very, very bullish. But I would need it to go above this level to find another re-entry towards the upside. Also bullish on AVAX. But like I said yesterday, I'll need AVAX to go above this level, then it rebounds before we jump in. So let's look at the overall, aside the chart, some of the someone is asking questions. Okay, let's take these questions. Someone is asking Can I short BTC? No, you can't short BTC. You've already missed the window to short. If you wanted to short, it's yesterday when it went back up. When it went back up here. Although I didn't bother shorting it because I don't like going against the trend. You're on an uptrend. And it doesn't make sense to me trading against the trend most times. If I can avoid it, I avoid it. So if you wanted to short BTC, it's when it approached this purple line. Yeah, that's when you're supposed to short with your stop loss up here. That's where you're supposed to short. You can't be talking of shorting BTC now. I saw it, it felt tempting to short because this trade had just closed. I knew there was a resistance here. So it looked very tempting to short BTC there from that yesterday. This is where your SL would have been, and your TP you would have targeted. Not really, don't need to target all the way to here. For me, I would have just targeted to like this level. If I were to take the trade yesterday, that's what I would have done. But trying to short BTC now doesn't make any sense. It feels too risky, like too risky. Like too risky because BTC can still get back to this zone and we can still see lots of buy orders again that sends it up. So it doesn't make sense trying to short it. So the answer for me, I won't be doing that. Can you explain how trailing stop loss takes some effect? It's simple. So what it just means is let's assume you short. Let's just assume you did like a BTC short. Let's say okay. Let's say you took a short here. Let's just assume that you took a short here with your stop loss up here, TP, all the way down here. Let's just assume that, and it's moving towards a direction. If you set a trading stop loss of $100, I've explained this before. $100 here, really it went below this level. You set $100. What it means is your stop loss is no longer here. Your stop loss is not trailing the price of BTC by $100. So right now BTC is at 91,850. So if it goes against you by $100, it take you out of the trade. Meaning if it goes to, since you're on a short, if it goes to 91,950, to take you out. At the same time, if it keeps going your direction, it will keep adjusting this your SL, trailing the price of BTC by $100. So if it doesn't go against you by $100 and it keeps going down, you stay in that trade making profit. If it goes all the way down to maybe it even gets to 90K, but it never went against you by up to $100, you still stay in the trade. But if it goes against you by $100, it takes you out of the trade automatically, it just kicks you out of the trade. So the disadvantage is if you don't time the trailing price or the trailing amount very well. You need to ensure that's where the trick is. You need to ensure the trailing amount is a reasonable amount because if you trail it by $50, just as we're speaking here, BTC was 91,850. Now it's 91,910 or thereabouts. That's already gone up by 50. So it would have taken the person out. So for me, I feel trailing by $100 is too small. I think I've explained that before, which I told you guys that the least I do is 300, but on average it's 500. Average, it's like 500 that I do. Yeah, so that way there's enough room for it to go up, down, and still continue towards your direction. There's enough room for that to happen. Because if you notice, let's say for example, you got in here and you set a $500 trailing, and this price is 92,850, and it comes all the way down to 92,430, and it goes back up because you're trailing by 500, it won't take you out. It won't take you out. And now it has gotten back to this level. So you still be in profit. For it to take you out, it needs to go minus 5% against you. Meaning it will take you out since the highest it has gone to here is 91,800. If it goes to 91,300, that's where it take you out. That's only when it take you out. So basically that's how it works. Then as it is approaching your full TP, you can now choose to reduce the trailing amount. If maybe somewhere here it was 500, you said, and it has gotten to somewhere here, you can choose to reduce it to maybe 300. As it approaches your full TP, you can just stabilize at 300, or you can still choose to stabilize at 500. So, for example, this trade, while it was moving, I took this trade on two platforms. One of the platforms, it took me out somewhere around here. And that was because there I didn't use trailing stop loss. I just used SL. That platform doesn't have a trailing stop loss, so I just adjusted my SL. And immediately I adjusted my SL, it took off. I adjusted my SL to somewhere here yesterday night, around 8, 9 or so. Adjusted it to somewhere here. Barely 15 minutes after I did that, BTC took off to full TP, but it ensured to come down, take me out before going up to full TP. And that's because that platform has no trailing stop loss. So it was my SL I adjusted all the way to here. And why I did that was because there's a resistance here. So in case it decides to come back to entry, I can take the trade again. It was barely, I don't think it was even up to 20 minutes. It actually took off. So the trick is you need to gauge if you're using trailing stop loss, which is not all platforms that have it by the way. But if you're using it, it's more favorable. If you're using it's more favorable. It's also automated. It's better. If you're using it, you need to ensure you're putting the right trailing price. Very important. If you're using it without the right trailing price, then you just mess yourself up. Especially, I don't know if you have something to say before we round up. Maybe just a few more questions for round up.
Okay, so that was like a very detailed analysis. What I'm looking at is I'm checking out a few coins, right? So one of the questions here was talking about if it's a good time to buy more, what's it called, Sura. So the FUD on Sura has not posted anything yet. People are still complaining about their stakes. They've not been able to unstake, right? Now, this could be one of two things. Either the team is purposefully keeping quiet about what's happening in the market, right? Just to drag the price down, just play mind games normally, right? Or something is fundamentally wrong. Okay, let's just be honest. We've not, if people cannot be able to unstake their tokens that they've staked for the period has reached and they've not been able to unstake it and the team is not saying anything, there are speculations that the money has been moved to MXC and sold. Okay, and the team has not come to say anything today. Like today is 7th, so we're already 1 week into the new year. That's not really a good sign. Okay, no matter whatever games that they are playing, that's not a good sign. So I wouldn't except that's money that you're okay losing, right? Maybe it's not a huge amount of money, then that's fine. But to move to say start buying Sora now without them saying anything, I don't think that's a good strategy. So it's probably to put the Sora Twitter on notification to know when they start making tweets, what the sentiment is like, what the tweet is like, because they were already putting up the what they want to release, the whole liquidity layer for prediction markets. They had a prototype already out. So it was supposed to launch this year. So if they start making tweets about it and maybe people start testing it, then yeah, you can start buying off Sora. But now I would really just watch what's happening in the market. Now, also talking about tokens that I think are really in a really good place to buy. On your spare time, you guys can go check out. Why did this token just escape my memory now? Just give me 1 moment. You guys could go check out Toshi. Toshi is a meme coin on Base basically, but it's one of those strong meme coins on Base, and the price it's at now is really good, like really, really, really good. So I'm not saying it's going to pump immediately, but it has that potential of doing a 2x. Because if you check the price it is now and the price it was in October, you see that it's clearly like a 120% opportunity just sitting there. Okay, so if you're looking at something long term, or not even long term, something short to the medium term, Pushy is one of your best bets. Volume is always steady. Uh, the risk to reward is really high, so you're looking at 30% to 120%. That's the RR. So it's actually really good. So yeah, that's my comment for this morning. While I still look at the market and see if any other opportunities arises, and then we'll share it with you guys.
All right. That's pretty good. That's very very good. At the same time, I think people should still pay attention to the likes of eval. I don't know if that's corrected, and it hasn't reached where I'm expecting to take profits because I'm still expecting eval to. It's at 1.1 m FDB, and I'm expecting it to still get like 1.6, 1.8. Yes, so I'm still holding on to that. Or has really performed well. Or has performed well. So I doubt all might see a strong correction again. I doubt all at $70. That was third week of December, even last week, early last week. It was also around 70, 80. That's really performed well. Yeah, so I think I don't think there's a whole lot we need to discuss about again. Just pay attention to the price of BTC before you take any trades, and any other trade idea that pops up, we'll share it in the TG. If you aren't part of the TG, I'll take any other question shortly. If you are not part of the TG, if you're not part of the TG, the link is on the screen, so you should join and you can have access to most of those stuffs. Yeah, so I think that's all we take in based on time. We're already out of time, so any closing remarks? Are you there?
There's a bit of lag, but yeah, that's all I have for today. So let's see how the rest of the day goes.
All right, guys. Same time tomorrow then. Bye bye.